Hi, welcome to Stockinit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan Williams, also known as Just Run It.
Woohoo!
On Ravelry.
She has her AKA.
I do. I'm officially AKA'd. So I think that there was a few people that caused a little bit of confusion for, but hopefully
Okay.
people are like, oh, that's still the same Ravatar, and it says Megan on it, but it's not. So hopefully not too many issues. I think I realized that anything that was linked previously, like on the blog, probably didn't get changed, so you wouldn't be able to find my projects. But other than that, I think Ravelry does a really good job.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like I was looking at some of the saved messages that it just cleaned them all up.
Must be like, and this is the geek in me, like the user ID must have, they must have UID out there.
Yeah.
It must be like, 3567, and when it displays the name, it just grabs the name out of a file for 3567, So, anyway, the techie in me was like, well, it wouldn't be that hard, but you'd have to have the forethought to...
I would like to know my number.
Yeah.
I don't think Casey's watching, but I would like to know.
Yeah.
Like if Casey's won and, what's my number?
So
there'd be like small number bragging rights or something from
maybe.
people.
Well, you have your Raveler sense, blah blah blah, right?
This is true. This is true.
Yep. Every once in a while, I look at that. Yep. I have my AKA. I was going to put it in the like odds and ends section. I was like, no, we're gonna talk about that first thing because I'll say I'm just run it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Every once in a while I look at it and I'm like, oh, I'm logged on to somebody else, and I'm like, oh wait, that's me. Takes a little bit of getting used to. Kind of like changing your name when you get married.
With the date in the new year, like, oh yeah, it's 2012.
Yep. 2012. It has been unseasonably warm here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Was it 50 something today?
Yeah,
50?
I ran in shorts just so that I could say that I did.
In January.
Yeah, in January in Minnesota. I mean, you can run in shorts in California probably.
This is true.
Every month of the year, but Minnesota, not many times you can say you ran in January in shorts. So, yeah. So some zombie shout outs. We have 500 plus zombies out there. Ooh, ooh.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
Like I think it's even like 530. So
I think
it just made a huge jump past 500.
It did. It wasn't like it didn't willy nilly around at the 500 mark. So.
Yeah, that was fun. And then you had a bunch of other shout outs before I can get to mine. It's like a list this long.
Hey, no.
It's a lot longer than it usually
I'm
is.
a little more verbose because I try to I'm like, I hate when I forget when I was going to say something.
True.
So, Jen, who is, I don't know how she says it, is G.I. Punk Jen, G Punk Jen, maybe, is an indie dyer who is going to be sending us some yarn. And I wanted to give her a shout out. Her Etsy shop is 716 Knit, and the colors just knock me out. Like I look at them and I'm like, wow. Like, I mean, you don't have them in front of us, and we'll get to review them when we get the yarn, right?
She's sending it to us to review.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
And that's our first.
Yes. Yep.
So, wow.
I know. The things just keep on coming. So it's like the vibrant colors just remind me a lot of Womiza. So anyway, she is working with me, and you said you wanted to be surprised at what I picked out, and
I'm even trying to be surprised as in I haven't clicked on like Etsy links or went to look at project pages or anything. So
yes, she's sending some lovelies our way, which will be awesome.
Yeah.
And then we also have, we're listed in the top 10 knitting video podcasts on Lisa, aka Jamal, Jam L Knitter.
Okay.
Which I was like, in my mind, I was like, is there more than 10 video podcasts out there that were in the top 10.
Oh, this is true. I think I looked at the list.
Are there like 11 or?
I think I looked at her list there, and it wasn't the Knit Girls.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah,
she left off some biggies.
Yep.
So we made her list.
Yeah, and she's got a new blog, been added to my blog reader, and if people wanted to go out and take a look, give her a zombie shout out. I also wanted to thank everyone for the wonderful birthday wishes. I had a wonderful birthday. I got to play some indoor soccer. My mom was here, and my mom is just like, she just breezes in and she does everything. Like cleaned my house from top to bottom. Front window here is all cleaned. Laundry got done. Kids got bathed. It was just like, oh, why can't she live with me always? But yes, I had a wonderful birthday. I also wanted to specifically call out Christina Knits. She sent me a pattern for my birthday, so I appreciate it. And you'll see some of what Amy gave me here in acquisitions. So,
let's see. That's yours.
That's all of them.
Okay. I was just gonna give a shout out to our giveaway donation from Walking Wisty again. She had special dyed a zombie colorway, and we'll show that in enabling a little bit later, but just a quick shout out there. Her username is Karina Jean, so that's where you can find her out on Ravelry, and of course we'll link her. And then I entered another swap, and this one's for Dancing Dog Dye Works, and I got my assignment, so I am Julie Knit's partner this time, and we've been talking, and it should be fun. And I've got almost all of my package done for my loopy. I saw that you got yours already sent out.
I did.
And received, so
yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. I didn't remember the deadline, but I knew that I was before it, and I was just like, well, I've got everything, so I just put it in the mail, and thought maybe it'd be a bigger surprise than, having it be exactly on the date. So, is it the end of January?
Yes.
Okay.
End of January, and that's the ship by date, so people will be receiving them into February.
Yeah.
And I have almost all of my stuff done, so I'll probably get mine in the mail early too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I did my due diligence and went, shopping specifically for her package. Like, okay, now let's go out and get some candies and trinkets and things just for her. So that's all I had on shout-outs. Just do a little shout-outs.
Yeah.
I guess I did want to talk about Retro Lemon. I have knit a pattern of hers as a little dog. Fidget's the one that most people know about, but Victor was her little guy version of Fidget, and I knit that one up, and it was a lot of fun. And she has a Molly the Traveling Turtle pattern. It's like $4, and she's doing a contest, and so people can win fabulous prizes, including DDD yarn and a little turtle project bag that is way cute. So there's like a grand prize that has everything, and then there's three additional prizes that are each piece of the grand prize broken out. So a bag, yarn, and then I think a pattern. I'm not sure. I just remember the yarn and bag being like, oh, cool, I better knit something up so I can get entered to win. And that's finally it. But yeah, Retro Lemon. I enjoyed the Victor pattern that I did, and it was very cute. So I think that I will get around to knitting Molly here shortly, even though I haven't started the robot yet, or the, been busy.
Yes.
So.
I definitely feel recently like I've been, Bedford, oh, I want to knit that,
yeah.
No, actually I want to knit a Moody, no, actually I want to, and so I guess I don't have like the startitis where it's actually been cast on, but I do feel like my queue has been like jumping around lately.
Yeah.
I recently realized that all of the little dresses that I had picked out, but either bought patterns or had patterns for for my daughter, she's gonna get too big for the sizes
no.
and or the yardage I have, you know. So I'm like, I better start knitting those.
I did notice that my queue got thinned because of that. Like, I hadn't bought any of the things yet, but I did go out and look again, and it's like, oh, only goes to 3T. Exit.
Yeah.
Only goes to 3. Exit. My daughter's a 4T now, and I am not going to be able to get to those.
Yeah.
Without modifications, which I have no time for right now. So.
Well, I guess I can upsize. It's the yardage that I'm like, you know.
Oh, this is true.
I'm not going to.
These dresses will now become tops.
Yeah, exactly. And I would prefer, because I have one girl, and I'm only ever going to have one girl now, that she get to wear them as dresses and then have them grow into being tops. If I'm going to knit something, because it's a double-edged sword. Children's knitwear, like, they knit up really fast because they're small, but they outgrow them so darn fast.
Yes. So. Like, my son has worn his socks that I knit him once.
Yeah.
And then they're on the top of his dresser, and he could totally wear them again, but he just doesn't pick them. And
yeah.
I don't know, he does kind of, try to, show them off and get, very like, look what I'm wearing, Mom, when he does put them on. So
yeah.
Maybe in his head he's got a special plan for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Special occasion socks.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Yeah. Maybe just the concept of them. I think that's a lot with my children. The concept of mommy's making me something is very exciting, and the attention they get when they initially are trying it on.
Yes.
But then it just kind of blends. I don't think clothing really registers to my children. Like, it's just something they wear because they have to, right?
Yeah.
So they're not naked.
No, this is true. This is true. Although my daughter did ask for shoes for her birthday, so sparkly shoes.
Oh,
fancy shoes.
Yes, and she's got a birthday coming up.
Shoes. Yeah.
Whereas, like, my daughter's like, Mommy, everything we see on TV, I want that. I'm like, well, it's past Christmas now. You're gonna have to ask for it at your birthday. That's in July. Like, I know exactly. By the time we get there, you'll have forgotten all about it.
Yeah. Justin has an allowance and a huge cash reserve of Christmas money that he has yet to spend. So we always say you can use your own money.
Yeah. Perhaps I need to get that started for my daughter. I don't think she really has a concept of money. Maybe they've learned about it at school. I don't know. Anyway.
Not that you taught her.
That's a different podcast, Amy.
Yeah. Children.
Yes. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Odds and ends. We are having a knit-along, if you haven't heard. The Shalom, a lot of us are knitting a Shalom, but it's any cardigan with any yarn, any size yarn, any pattern. Just go to town, knit a cardigan. I've seen a lot in the blogosphere about it's the year of the sweater or the year of the cardigan, or and a lot of the podcasts I watch, people are talking about wanting to do.
I put a very ambitious list and around the twists thread about it, because I figured I'll document it there and it'll be fun to go back and edit it and like strike it out as I complete them. We'll see how far I get.
Yeah. Or see how epically you failed.
Yes, exactly.
Epic fail.
I have a good indication on a lot of them, because I've already started them, so hopefully I can finish them this year. And then the ambitious ones are like, oh, the Austin hoodie's on there.
Yeah.
Will I start that one? I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends.
Okay.
Can't see that I will.
And I think we have like 55 tagged projects out there, which is like phenomenal to me. I'm so excited about all the people that are out there knitting.
I think Chaz is going to join us.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Hey, Chazzy Mo.
Okay, well.
He may or may not be on screen.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting excited. The zombie meetup in the Twin Cities at Knitter's Palette is coming right up. We got 2 weekends, or this upcoming weekend, and then it'll be the next. Yep. So if you haven't marked your calendars, January 21st, we're going to be in Lakeville, knitting, being us, I guess.
Yeah.
Hoping to meet people on the other side of the camera that we can't see right now.
Yep.
I'm excited to meet Christina Knits. And there's a couple other people that have RSVP'd that I'm like, oh, that's cool. I've seen you enough out in the forums to be excited to meet ya.
Yeah.
So
recognize your avatar.
Nice to meet ya. That's from Nemo. Oh, nice to meet ya. It's the sharks, right? Anyhow. Yes. Let's get right into your finished objects.
Okay. Finished objects, okay.
That's not one of them.
No, I'm just saving the stitches there. So my Nyan cat socks have become 2. Woohoo!
Covet!
And my other FO, I am calling it my design FO.
Yeah.
I designed up or wrote up the pattern for the zombie envelope, as I'm calling it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a pro account on Ravelry, which makes me feel so special. And it's kind of addicting. Yeah.
The design?
Yeah, the design bug has hit me. And so I've been designing some mittens, and I don't know how long the process is going to take, but the brain has been downloaded onto a piece of paper, and I've been like crossing it off and reworking it, and I have a prototype started that's about this big, and so it's consuming my time, my knitting time. But yeah, so that's it. Socks. And I did knit my husband a pocket out of the leftover Rasta. He said he didn't want an envelope, and I was all like bummed. But so I ended up just knitting him a pocket where it slips into it, and that's okay. Now we have matchy, fraternal twin Kindle covers, and that's it. And yeah, it's being used, so I didn't bother to bring it. But that's my FOs.
All right.
I know you have one.
I do. I have actually it's got the buttons I selected hanging off of it. Or 2. I haven't decided quite yet.
Okay.
But yes, my shalom is wrapped up. Somebody asked me to put my pocket mods out there, and I was like, well, I didn't really write them down real well. But just separated here, like I think it was like 10 stitches in the front and 5 stitches towards the middle. And then I worked up a really basic inside pocket by picking up stitches and then just decreasing down into the center. Cute. I didn't want to have to seam. That was the part that I didn't like about the Atelier.
It looks like a fancy pocket on the inside, like a little surprise, because it's going outside in.
Yes. And then I realized I was doing a purl 2 together, which makes it look nice on this side, but then if you look in the actual pocket, you can see the decreases, which is fine. It's fine. But
it's hidden.
Yes. So I added that, and I added a lot of length to it. When it gets blocked, it'll get even longer. But I chose these buttons, which are kind of square. And of course they didn't get sewn on, because why would I sew on buttons? Then I could actually wear my garment. Kind of square blue ones, and these are kind of pearly blue circular ones. So if anybody has any inclination one way or the other, they're very thin.
Okay.
Which ones they like.
I don't know. It depends on if they stay, because I like the look of these buttons, but these look like, they suit the bulky weight of the cardigan better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I like these colors.
I do too.
Pretty rich.
I think I was drawn to it because it almost completely matches my cobalt. My cobalt. That seems really far away to me, but normally I can reach out and do that when the camera's a lot closer. But hopefully we're okay.
Yeah. Tiny.
Hello. Hello out there. We are tiny little things. Which is not the case in real life at all. I'm large. What was it, the Knit Girls, that Leslie made her that quilt that says,
it's all about me.
It's all about me, yes. I would have one that says, I'm kind of a big deal. Didn't you know I'm kind of a big deal? So that was my Shalom. Such a quick knit. I think the bigger yarn, I'm noticing a lot more variations, like in my stitch lengths. Like you can see, kind of, it needs to be blocked, basically.
Okay.
With worsted and smaller yarns, I don't have that problem. I don't have bigger stitches than smaller stitches, but neither here nor there.
Blame the yarn.
Yes, I'm going to blame the weight.
It's not her technique.
My son did not choose the Socken Monster. The Socken Monster. He chose, this is, I get extra credit. This actually counts as like 17 socks instead of just one pair because this was part of my stash bust.
Yay.
So I have this Line Brand Sockies in the sour ball. And I think, again, it was like sour. It must be on a sour theme.
Yeah.
Sour. And I just weighed it. I only used 35 grams of it, so 35% of it. But he's got some, the escalator socks were a bust. The stripes are so thin on this that you just didn't even see it.
Oh, okay.
Like it was just like completely masked. So I just ad hoc, I had 48 around. I went, I'll do start out with 3 knit and then do 3 purl, 2 knit, 3 purl, 2 knit, and then have 3 on, or the 3 on the sides, kind of framing it in. So 24, right? And then it's just a garter rib.
I see writing up a pattern in your future.
It's just a garter rib. I mean, you do the ribbing on one round, and the next round you knit all of them.
It's all about the sizing, though. You know,
yes.
You could publish a kid's sock pattern.
This is. It's a toddler sock pattern with an afterthought heel.
See?
And the ribbing is nice because it kind of breaks up some of the stripes, I think.
Go ahead and publish it. If you think it's not cool enough, just make it free.
Yes, yeah. I don't know that, maybe eventually we could get to where I was paying for some, making people pay for some, but I don't know. I use so many free patterns that, and he likes them, although he wanted them on for the photo shoot and then immediately wanted to take them off, maybe just kind of like your son, right? Like the excitement of getting them was over, but he actually has a fatter around than he has long, which was funny to me. It was like my daughter had for a while had like a square foot, had like a 7 foot or 7 inches, or no, I think it was 5 inches and 5 around, and he's actually got a 6.5 and then only a 6 inch long foot. So yep, those were fun. I think that this is going to become a fingering weight hat, but I'll do that up next. Okay. So those were my 2 finished. Oh no, I had another finished object. It was not knitting related. Well, it is, right. But I sewed a project bag, and it was a comedy of errors. My mom and I were like, it says to put the interfacing, and then put the inside, and then put it had all of the tutorial had all of the layering, and it didn't say which side of it said that the zipper had to be wrong side, but it didn't say if it needed to be sticking out or it needed to be completely covered. So we were like, it doesn't work. So anyway, and then I only had a 7-inch zipper, so I was going to make it less big around, but I read the directions wrong and ended up making this part 7 versus this part 7. It was very funny, but I learned how to sew in a zipper. I also learned that you want your zipper to be longer than the object so that it can stick down in. I put on this jaunty little handle here. My mom was like, "What do you need that for?" I'm like, "I don't know. All the bags have handles, and I could put it on my belt loop or something. I don't know, but I really like
a pencil case.
It does, and then my needles fit. I just took them out, fit in really nice. Like they fit in there, and you just go zoop, and away you go. So yeah, it was. I feel more comfortable sewing in zippers now.
Okay.
I didn't get the box bag into it because it would have been near impossible with this diameter. But I like the fabrics. I like that I chose. They were just like, my mom just kept, well, why are you using this good? I'm like, this isn't the good stuff. The good stuff is the stocking and zombie stuff that I paid a lot of money for. This is just like scrap fabric that I have sitting around, and let's get this going. So, and she taught me a lot of stuff, and I now have a jaunty little bag with a very long handle.
A little mother-daughter project.
Yes, it was. It was. So, and she absolutely loved her Atelier. She wore it around town, and I went and got my hair cut again. This side's a little short, so I keep on playing with it. And told, everybody that would listen that my daughter knit this. And it was just like, oh, thank you, Mom.
Worthy recipient.
Yes, very worthy, very worthy. So.
We like that kind of story.
Yes. So that is my finished object. I'm going to grab a drink because something through.
Okay.
Those are my finished objects.
Okay, so whips, I will show that I am keeping my word on progress. So assuming that this is a 5 skeiner, I am right on task. And see, I just barely made it past the second. I've finished 1 ball of yarn and a little bit into the second, and that will get me to the end of February. And I am finding that it is really hard to stop and pace yourself on this sweater, because it zooms, you're just zoom, 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 and it's like I could totally be wearing this next week if I, set my mind to it. So I am keeping pace, and I think it's going well, and those people who are joining late can kind of see like, okay, this is where you need to catch up to if you're pacing yourself. And then so I'm trying really hard to keep on pace. So now I get to knit on it again. It's very good, and put it away and didn't knit on it.
That's like the opposite for you, isn't it? Normally you're like, put you in timeout, and I'm like, I want to knit on you, but I have to pace myself.
Yes. Well, but it's good because I've been able to make progress on the sleeve.
Ooh. Second sleeve?
Second sleeve, yes. So once this bad boy is done, I will be seaming my sweater. Well, blocking. Will take a couple days, but then seaming. So, and from what I hear, blocking takes some effort and time, and it's maybe even a little bit of frustration. So, hopefully it's not any of those things for me, and it goes well, and I can be sewing, because our friend Karen, who purchased the yarn at the same time we did, said that she started seaming. So she says it's slow going and it's a little frustrating, but she did start seaming.
I literally threw the directions away when I got to the seaming part and just like used my little crochet hook and did like a chain stitch, because it was the way that, it seemed fiddly to me, the directions did.
Okay. But I will at least read them before I throw them away. But chances are I will be throwing them away too.
Yeah.
I know so many other ways of doing things. I'd probably be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll do it this way. It'll get the same look.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. Sometimes people do things so that you don't have to buy another implement, right? Like, oh, if you don't own any crochet hooks, I'm not going to make you have a crochet hook right at the end,
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. People have their reasons. And then the other thing I was knitting on, I got a couple more things, is I went back and started working on these socks that have been hibernating for a long time. And I'm almost to where I can start the heel flap and stuff. And this was really fun car knitting for things that I had to do here and there. Where my husband was driving, and I was like, well, yeah. But I wasn't driving.
Okay.
And but it's, again, somebody had asked, like, how do you find time? You guys seem to knit all the time or have tons of knitting done and accomplished. I knit a stitch any chance I get.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I have 5 minutes, I'm going to sit down and knit. Or I have 5 minutes, I'm going to stand and knit. I have knitting with me stashed everywhere. So, like, it's either this thing's traveling with me, or the sleeve is traveling with me. something easy, brainless, but it's always traveling with me so that I can keep going, getting more stitches accomplished. That, and it relaxes me, and I find that now when I get stuck somewhere, I don't get mad or impatient or,
Yes.
you know, it's just like, oh, yeah, it's another 20 minutes, and then I just pull out my knitting and get 20 minutes done.
Waiting rooms. Yep. My saying is, if I'm sitting, I'm knitting. So, like, anytime I'm watching TV, I've got my needles in my hands. Anytime I'm waiting for swim lessons or,
And I would say that a lot of knitting didn't get done for me this weekend because I was organizing my craft room. And wow, I mean, just all day long, I barely sat. I was just going through, and it wasn't even like all crafty stuff. It's like the big basket that collects all sorts of paperwork. That gets dumped into some back room, usually my craft room. And so I had 3 of those, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And I still have 2 more that I haven't gone through. But it's clean, and I can actually get things done when I go down there. And it feels more inspiring to go down there. Rather than, oh my God, look at this mess, you know.
I was just commenting to my husband that having the sewing machine, like, set up and whatever, like, out and accessible rather than in a bin somewhere tucked away, I was like, it just is more inspiring to to sew. And he's like, yeah, I could see that. You know, we could get you a room. I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, you know, if there was a room where it was set up, I could see myself sewing more often. So,
you need that up or down to get
but the thing is, I need it to be somewhere where I can go and throw in a load of laundry and come back, or go into the kitchen and, you know, stir something and come back. And there's not really any places that are great for that in my home, but we'll get there. It's funny when you said craft room, it reminded me of and there's a basket where stuff gets thrown in. My mom and I were talking about that bag, and she was like, I kept on thinking she was saying crap bag instead of craft bag. But your craft room became the crap room.
It did. And it's clean now. And then I did notice that I have 3 other baskets around the house that are also in that shape. So there's 2 left in the craft room, and then I did there's 1 in the bedroom, and then there's 1 additional one in the living room, and so maybe there's only 2 more. Anyway, it was like, oh my God, I just don't want to do it.
And my resolutions outside of knitting, like I talked about color work and running and whatever, but another one is to declutter my life. Like, I'm just going to take a room every weekend and be like, do I need this? Have I used this? Is it just stacked on top of each other and not being used? And get rid of it. Find a new good home for it.
I went through and got a lot of little toys that are like the like McDonald's type toys that, you know, they're just kind of throwaway and small and the kids don't play with them. I gathered up a big bag of them and took them to our gymnastics class where they have like a little waiting room, and the younger kids and their moms they hang out there, and there's always those little random toys. And I never thought how they got there. Maybe I thought that the gymnastics place purchased them, but now I'm like, I just dumped that bag on the table there, and oh my gosh, so many kids picked them up and played with them. I'm like, that's the most action those toys have seen in like a year. You know, like, awesome, they're getting used, and I feel good that they're out of my house.
And they're not in a landfill.
Yes, yep, it was all good. And I started a hitchhiker, because it's the thing to do, you know. So I started a hitchhiker, and this is part of my stash enhancements. This is Collins by 3 Irish Girls. And so I actually had purchased this, like I said, many moons ago with a sale. I think it was a post Thanksgiving Day, so Black Friday sale. And so during that Black Friday sale, I picked up a lot of Kel's Sport. So 2 of these, 2 and something for my daughter, and then some worsted weight for a sweater. But I figure I'd save that for another time, since I had 1 to show.
And what's the Kel's Sport?
Kel's Sport is a superwash merino sport weight.
And I saw another pattern out there free on Ravelry called like Wingspan or something like that.
Okay.
That looks very similar to a hitchhiker.
Okay.
I can link to it and people can tell me how it is or isn't the exact same as the hitchhiker, but it looks very similar.
Yeah, I guess.
Like you kind of knit as you go and.
Yeah, it could be very similar. I know
Yeah.
that she herself has the designer of this. She herself has a series of these, and they're all like this where you start small and you get wider.
Mm-hmm.
So very well could be. And there's probably people who've made modest tweaks to patterns like Shalom and charged a few dollars for them. You know?
Yeah.
So that, and then that's it for whips.
Okay. Well, I'm knitting this pattern, and it's by this really great gal. She's up and coming. She's a new designer, kind of new. I don't know if you've heard of her. She made the zombie envelope. So my work in progress is I went out and I guess I was gonna say I hadn't bought any yarn this year, but I did buy. I guess Lion Brand Woolies doesn't count in my mind as a stash enhancement, but it's thick and quick. Really
it's in and out, right? It's not gonna actually make it to stash.
It's claret. It's kind of a reddish, purplish over black. So again, me in the black lately. But I'm making the iPad version because my mom and I gathered funds and bought my brother a iPad for Christmas. So
okay.
I don't know if he'll ever use it, but there's the iPad.
You mean the cover? He'll use the iPad. Right?
Yes. No, my brother, he'll just set it aside. He'll never use it. No, if I gifted him this cover, I don't know if he'll ever use it, but I wanted to give it a go for Miss Stocking Knit Zombie Designs over here.
I did that on purpose because Megan's gonna start writing some patterns too.
I think I had more aspirations than you did from the get-go when I asked you. I think we could go back just to maybe 5 episodes and you would be saying, "Oh no, I think I'll never design."
Oh yeah, probably. So, it just took somebody asking for the pattern, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, oh, that's really cute. Make a pattern.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
So.
But yeah, the pro account, I added your name, so I don't know if you get a pro account too, but oh my gosh, that's a statistician data miner's dream.
Yeah.
It's got tons of stuff going
and
on.
that was to have a storefront, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
To have,
I know that it's
place
free.
to do the download now.
Yeah.
From Ravelry. To have a Ravelry download.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's free. So if you're interested, you just have to have a pattern that you've created, and it was, I had it up in an hour.
Yeah.
And I will thank Lisa from 90% Knitting because she sent me a nice long, these are the steps, little I don't know, tutorial type thing for me to follow, and it really was quite easy. Although if you create a pattern, beware that there are editors out there that are they pounce on it. Within minutes they said there is no link to your design, so the pattern was out there but it didn't have my links out yet, and I was I was like, I'm working on it, gosh, 3 minutes, I thought I'd at least have an hour to put it out there. And I don't know what order things have to be in so that doesn't happen to you, but I'm working on it. I'll figure it out.
Somebody said that they saw your pattern in the Hot Right Now or something.
It must have been the first half day that it was out there, because by the time I looked, it was Hot Right Now, but it was 20. So you had to click on the see more, and then you had to go down quite a bit to see it. But I did, and I was like, oh wow, okay.
Who's Seymour?
Sorry. To see
more. Okay. Sorry. You had to click on Seymour. Is that a special? Sorry.
So it's a 1-pager, and I don't explain how to do a Judy's Magic cast on. I just say do one.
Yeah.
So it does take
the
some
only
skill
other
set.
comment I had as a test knitter was that your cast-on stitches, it showed in the pattern that 30 was for a Kindle and 36 was for something else.
In this.
But not literally in the pattern.
Yes. So
Comments like that are helpful.
I wanted to make it a one-pager, and I'm not the greatest user of Word, or
You're not a power user.
Yeah, I'm not. So when I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to add that. Anytime I tried to add something, it went to 2 pages. So I just tried to keep. I don't know. Yeah, like you can see, like this zombie envelope is just slightly above the picture because every time I tried to move something, this would jump below, and I am not a power user. I need better tools if I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Because, I was using OpenOffice, and it has an export to PDF, and that's all I need, and it's free. I just need to become more skilled at it because it can do everything I need it to do. I just am not a power user. I need to get better. And that's your only...
This is my work in progress. Always one. My next up, I'm going to make with my leftovers from the sakis. I'm going to make a squirrel hat.
Okay. I need something like that.
Yeah. The other projects out there that were in self-striping, it looked really neat because it moves with it. So. And it says you can make it for chemo hats. It's by Mandy Harrington. In Sheepy Time, I guess.
She color-coded her sizes.
Color-coded. I've also seen in patterns like different parens, like so the smaller sizes are in squares and the other ones are in rounded and so on and so forth. But so that'll probably be a finished object by next week.
I think that was the Bedford had that. The squares and the parens and whatever.
Yeah, because you like to read through patterns because you're...
Yes, I'm a geek.
The muggles. Yep, the muggle knitting patterns.
Yep, I like to read them. Usually when I buy one, I read it right away, even if I'm not going to knit on it.
Yeah.
And then, enabling. So here is the colorway we are giving away.
It's called
Zombie. So it's a self-striping, and it's got black and gray, which is an homage to early zombie films. And then it's got this pink and green that she called brains and rotting flesh. And I think the pink and green is kind of a variegated third stripe, so it's going to be 3 stripes, and the colored stripe is going to be more of a variegated. But she can correct us on that. I didn't see it knit up yet. I've just seen it in the scan, and it did look like it was going to be the pink and green together in a variegation. The brains and rotting flesh will be in one variegation. But yeah, it seems zombie. Yay!
Yay!
And
Walking
it feels
with fingering, self-striping.
It's 75 Falkland merino and nylon, so 25% nylon. It'll probably wear really well.
Yeah.
And it is still quite squishy. So
yeah, so I guess Amy gave me some for my birthday. So yes, it is quite squishy.
So yeah, self-striping and it's really cool. So I'm excited to be able to give that away. Thank you very much, Karina. And then I bought from Knitting to My Bag a double point holder. So, and it's working well for my collection of wooden ones. And then I guess I have a few of the really tiny addies that are like a double or triple zero, maybe quad zero, I'm not sure, that are over here, but those have to be metal.
Yeah.
And then otherwise I prefer wooden, the bamboo, because I wouldn't even go with an ebony. I like the lighter woods, and the ones from Knit Picks are too dark, even with the different colors, the Harmony ones. So this is my preferred double point, and I put all of them in there, got rid of the ones that I don't like, or at least put them away and somewhere else. So these are my main, and it just folds up tri-fold You could probably roll it too, but it's got interfacing and it's been starched to trifold, so I'm gonna keep it that way. And it came very quickly, and I have no complaints.
Awesome.
And it was on sale too. I don't know if she's changing the style of her double points or whatever, but the double point ones were on sale. So I thought that was nice. So knitting's my bag, and I have a card so that we can link her, but yeah, she's out on Plurk a lot, and that's how I ended up clicking on her page, and I've been looking for one for a while, and the price was right. I think I only paid $10.
Cool.
And some shipping. So I liked it. That is it.
Your acquisitions?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't got much. I've tried to be really good.
Yeah, mine is, I did not buy this.
Right.
Well, I bought it last year. So fiscally, the debt was paid last year. But this is Madeline Tosh Chunky, which I didn't realize until I went out to add it to my stash. It's actually an Aryan weight.
Oh, okay.
So they call it chunky, but it
isn't chunky.
Yeah. Well, maybe the gauge is chunky. I don't know. Why would it be called an Aryan weight out on Ravelry? Again, very strong knitting fumes, but it's very green and blue.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Envy?
Envy. Yes. Wow. And you're only able to get it, I don't think you can get it in stores through her club. So this is the Tosh Chunky, and I've got...
Oh, I see. The chunky weight you can only get through her club, or that colorway?
This colorway. Is the only one that you can get through the club. You can get chunky in stores, I believe, but it's just like their tarts and the turns and the very basic ones. So I've got... I don't know what this is going to become, to be quite honest with you. I've got... I don't think it's quite enough for like a... an Adiz or any of those other ones that I've linked out on in the forum for our knit along, but and I think it's a little too dark. I tried to knit my Rocky Coast cardigan out of some Azul Belita Malabrigo, and the cables just got lost in the really dark color, so it's probably not going to get cabled. This probably won't, because it's very dark.
No, I agree, because I mean, they're really thick, big cables, but I have a pattern that I really want to do in black, but it's cabled. And I just keep telling myself that's the dumbest idea in the world. So if you want to back me up on that, say, yeah, you're right, in the episode thread, just, yeah, please. Because I need encouragement here not to knit this black sweater with cables. I really want to, and it would mean acquiring some more yarn because I don't have enough in a lightweight. So, oh darn, twist my arm. But I really, I don't know, I had high hopes for it. I love the black yarn. It's, it's just Rios, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to knit this into this specific thing because the black FO would be awesome. I think what I need to do is buy the pole pattern that Leslie's working on and from the Knit Girls, because it's kind of a similar one, but then that traveling sweater is kind of similar too.
Yeah, it's kind of a, what do they call it? They just talked about it.
Pinwheel.
Pinwheel, yeah, cardigan. Where you go
I was screaming at the screen. Not screaming, but I was going, it's a pinwheel.
Yeah.
It's a pinwheel. Because they took them a while to remember.
Yeah.
I've knit one of those, it's a pinwheel.
Yeah.
But,
other than that, I have stayed on my diet. Other than buying this for $3 because it was on sale at Joann's while my mom was fleece shopping. I have stayed on my diet. I even got birthday presents that were gift certificates to like the Loopy, and I haven't even used them.
Yeah, me too. I have my Loopy gift card still sitting out there and waiting for just the right moment. Although every once in a while I think like, oh, like I want to make a stuffy pattern. Like I'm like salivating at making a stuffy because I knit so many of them.
Yeah, you haven't recently.
And I feel like, oh, I should design one and knit one up. And the pattern that I have in my head requires new yarn. Go figure. It does. It really does, because I want it to have 3 specific colors in it, and the one color can't be fudged, it has to be a certain color. So again, things that I will share. I don't mean to be cryptic. I just want to be able to flesh them out before I get all share and announce them and stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. We have gone a little longer, and
It seems to be the case lately. Folks have had a lot to say out in the podcast world. So,
that's it. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.
Bye. Oofda.
Bye, oofda. Yes.
You didn't say it. I was expecting
Well,
you to
I was saying if you would say it. So, doesn't feel like Minnesota, but yes, bye, oofda.
Oofda.